Hey guys, this is Running Man 37 and welcome to my first YouTube video. Today I'm going to be discussing Endgame Collapse. It was announced earlier today, or should I say details were announced earlier today. They mentioned Endgame Collapse before amongst the Legion changes and other changes, and then today they actually released a video which more detailed the changes that we can expect. So what is Endgame Collapse? It is going to be a new phase of the game. The intention of pushing lingering players out of endgame stalling and hijacking. Why do we need that, Running Man? I'm glad you asked, man. So I think everybody's that's put a significant amount of time into this game realizes that hatch standoffs are about the least fun way you can play Dead by Daylight. Furthermore, as a killer main, I think that my least favorite thing on planet Earth is when a late game immersed survivor decides that they're upset with how the game went, upset with how you played, upset with what perks you used, and they decide to just hijack the game. I mean, they can do that any number of ways, bouncing from locker to locker, blendette, crouching around the outside of like one of the swamp maps. Basically, hatch standoffs, late game immersed hide and go seek, pointless. So Behavior did us a huge solid and said, hey, we're watching, we're listening, and we know this isn't making our game better, it's making it worse, and they decided to do something to fix it. So how does it work? Running Man, how does it work, though? Because Endgame has been the same way for years, man. Endgame phase activates in two ways, okay? If you open a powered exit gate or you close the hatch, Endgame phase begins. The killer and the survivor are going to be able to open the exit gates, whereas the killer is the only one that can close the hatch. Endgame phase, once it starts, it's a 3-minute countdown. You'll see a progression bar on your screen. It shows how much time is left in endgame. The bar will slow significantly when survivors are hooked or down. So I know one of the first concerns I heard was, oh, then this is going to make slugging at the end of the game, like to slug everybody out and then wait till the entity slaughters them, which, while it sounds hilarious, isn't probably going to be the case. I mean, we'll wait and see on the PTB exactly how much it slows, but I mean, they said it significantly slows when they're down or hooked, so I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. I'd really rather kind of know what percentage slowdown it did or anything like that, so we can maybe get a better idea of how long you're going to have to wait with somebody on the hook. But for right now, all we know is that it's not going to run at the same. It's going to be more than 3 minutes if you got people on the ground or on a hook. There will be audio and visual cues for survivors every 25%, which will keep the intensity flowing. When the time runs out, all remaining survivors will be auto-sacrificed to the entity. Watch the video. It looks awesome. Those will count for normal kills for the killer. So that's just if the end game begins like normally. Now there's also hatch changes. Now the hatch is going to stay as it's always been. 4 survivors alive, 5 generators must be powered before the hatch opens. 3 survivors alive, 4 generators must be powered. 2 survivors alive, 3 generators must be powered. The difference now, though, is that with 1 survivor alive, irrespective of generator progress, the hatch is going to spawn and open. So, I mean, you can have a potato potentially get a hatch escape with 5 generators up. We'll have to see how that plays out. But the end game phase will actually only begin once the killer closes the hatch. So scenario is basically the hatch rules haven't changed, and then when it's down to 1 survivor, no matter what kind of gem progress, the hatch is going to spawn. So what this is going to turn the game into, or the end game into, is essentially a race for the hatch. And so, I mean, there's a whole lot of talk about the whole situation, the whole end game situation, right? And then there's this whole like, well, you got 3 minutes and then blah, blah, blah. None of that's 99% of the time. End game is going to go like end game goes. People are going to leave. People are going to do their thing. The idea of a hatch being closed, or a door being open for 3 full minutes without something going down seems a little ridiculous unless somebody was doing it on purpose. You know, I mean, specifically with the gates powered, like if a team makes it to the end game situation, they power the gates. 3 minutes is an eternity. Okay, so like I've seen some people complaining about it, and all I can think of is if one of my teammates gets the door open and it takes me more than 3 minutes to get to that door and get out, I probably didn't deserve to win the video game. But that's just, I guess I'm a killer main, so I could be biased. But where it really plays out like a big change, where we're gonna see this used a lot, is the hatch situations, right? Because like I said before, we've essentially got a race for the hatch now, which is kind of cool. I like it. Okay, I've always liked the concept of whoever finds the hatch first wins the game. That's how they did it when they did the actual behavior sponsored DVD tournament. It was just whoever finds it first gets the hatch. And so they have changed it a little bit. You know, they've made it so it's a real race. The killer can't yoink anymore. They can't pull you out of the hatch. Like, if the survivor beats the killer in a foot race to the hatch, they get to take it, no questions asked. If the killer gets there and closes it, there's actually still a win condition for the survivor, because once the killer closes the hatch, the end game phase is going to start. It's going to shut off all the gens, and that survivor now has to either get the doors open or will die, is the situation. So, I mean, I've talked to some people that I respect a lot that have issues with that. To me, it seems like a no-brainer that it's as close to balance as it can get. I mean, obviously the survivor finds the hatch first, they literally win the game automatically. If the killer finds the hatch first, you don't even get to win the game automatically. You just make it really hard for the survivor to win the game. I like it. We're going to avoid those scenarios where there's a major hatch standoff, like 2, 3, 5, 12 hours of killer and survivor staring at each other, nodding and teabagging until somebody takes it. You're going to avoid situations like I talked about earlier where Blandette decides she's frustrated that you played nurse, and so she's going to crouch around the perimeter of the map the whole game, or the whole time, waiting for the killer to DC or get frustrated. I personally have had an ace hijack my game for over an hour playing Huntress. He was upset, and there was still 4 gens up, and dude just bounced from locker to locker to locker to locker until I finally found him. So, I mean, those are situations that we're going to avoid. I think people need to stay calm. A lot of people are out there on social media and in Twitch chats absolutely losing their minds right now, and we haven't even seen this thing on the PTB, much less like gone to the live servers. I said a lot on my stream today that I'm skeptical that it'll launch this way, only because the last time they attempted a hatch closure on the PTB, there was a huge blowback, and survivors did not appreciate losing their win condition that they're used to. Although, I don't know. This one seems a lot more balanced to me. I love the idea of there being a hard cap on how long Endgame can go. Like, Endgame will never go any longer than 3 minutes now. Like, once the doors are open or the hatch is shut, 3 minutes you're going to be in matchmaking again. So I do really enjoy that a lot. Yeah. So that's basically the breakdown of what this thing is and my personal thoughts and feelings and opinions on it, if you cared about it. So thank you guys for tuning in, checking this out. I appreciate all the support, as always. If you like me and you don't watch the stream, check me out at twitch.tv/runningman37. If you watch the stream and this is your first time checking out YouTube, please click that follow button, smash the bell, like so you get notifications or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how to YouTube yet. This is my first video, so hopefully these will get a little bit smoother in the future. But thanks again for tuning in. Thanks again for listening to my thoughts and opinions. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and slap them in the comments, and I will read and respond to all comments. If no one's told you they love you today, I love each and every one of you. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.